How you doing today?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's a privilege.
Oh no, the refresh. Okay, we're in. You said it's a privilege to be here, and it's a privilege to have you here. So I appreciate you coming on. Let's see. I think you're back. Oh no. Well, I'm excited to chat here today. Let's see if we got it going. I see it going here on the Twitch as well as some of the other channels, but not to worry. Okay. Trial number 3. I think I see you in now.
Yeah,
How we
sorry,
doing?
mate. I don't know what's going on here. My internet's normally spot on, so I've no idea if this is me or you or what. But fingers crossed, we should be all right.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you popping on. Would love to just have you share a little bit about yourself, like your background and what like who is Roaring Sensei?
Yeah, cool. So Um, I am a full-time businessman. I run a martial arts dojo in the UK. I'm into the traditional sort of Japanese martial arts and stuff, and all about kind of respect and discipline and humility and this kind of stuff, and not so much about fighting and aggression. And that's part of it, but it's very much used in an absolute necessity. The rest of it is all about the self. It's all about being selfless. It's working with others and this kind of stuff. That's my livelihood. That's my passion. But then my background is also in tech. Like I've worked in, from leaving university, I worked in systems administration and web development and web design and stuff. So I do a lot with that kind of stuff. Hence my stuff where I do these little projects and stuff. For those that don't know me on Twitter and things, I'm always talking about how I'm working on a little app or working on a little website or something. And so yeah, I'm just a massive nerd that loves martial arts, and I love anything kind of retro and geeky and anything 90s, and yeah, that's just me. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's I think my favorite part is that you're saying that selfless and like using it in self-defense for that reason and but then like having that as your opportunity to have that confidence that you know that in that situation
Yeah.
you can be powerful, right? So
Yeah,
I
that's
love
the
to hear
balance.
that.
There's a lot of martial artists out there or whatever with huge egos, and they're all about winning. They're all about. I've got no qualms or issues with things like UFC and turning martial arts into competition. But what I have an issue with is the ego that comes with it, and it's all about beating the other guy or making themselves look better than the other guy, which is inherently, quite a male problem anyway. Puffing out your chest and kind of having to win and having to look better, like rather than just accepting your own flaws and working on your own stuff. And I don't care, what car you drive or what house you live in, or it just doesn't bother me. All I care about is how well I'm doing, how well my family are doing, how well my friends are doing. And then, can we lift one another? Can we push one another? Most importantly, not just, the martial arts again teaches you to not just accept the good stuff, but you have to accept the criticism and be willing to grow and listen and whatever. And we're kind of in a society now where that's not a lot of people can do that. I find where, it's, they'll take constructive criticism as negative, and they'll feel like they're being attacked or they get very defensive or whatever. But and I feel that way as well. But it's that way that you respond to it and deal with it, and then grow from it and the challenges that comes with it. But it's very much a mental game, which is why I'm in the martial arts rather than. I love the physical stuff. I love the technical stuff, but I don't do it because I'm a physical, sporty kind of guy. If I didn't have my martial arts, I would just be an absolute nerd that just sat there on my computer all the time. I'd be unhealthy. I'd be, um, so
It's an
it's
outlet.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
for that.
outlet.
That's
It's an
awesome.
outlet. I need the
For sure.
physical and I need the mental. You know.
No, I like that a lot. I think there's a lot of things people can relate to in that. And my favorite thing that you were saying in all that is there's so much opportunity in learning from losing
Yeah,
that many people don't take that opportunity to grow and stay in a specific place in their life and
yeah,
not able to grow from that. And I think that's like part of getting old, right? Like in
yeah,
my opinion, is like just not pushing to be able to grow in different opinions, because when you can form those different opinions, you can grow in different capacities. So
yeah.
no, I love all that. I would love to dive into to GameStop a little bit more. What drew you to GameStop? What's the background there?
Yeah, so honestly, it's pretty much like I think a lot of other people. The kind of Ryan Cohen and Kitty story. I think a lot of people, if they were honest with themselves, it was because of the squeeze initially. That was why they were attracted. And I don't think, again, there's anything selfish about owning up to that. If you see a chance of making money and it's a quick flip, but then you kind of grow to learn more about the actual story and what's going on with the entire thing, to do with Wall Street, to do with the shorting, to do with all of it. And I've always been like okay with the fact that everybody's in this for different reasons, but as I started to get more aligned with the company and more with what Ryan was doing, I definitely became more of a company man than I did a short squeeze man or a stock man. Like, I'm not bothered about making money on it in the next year. Like, I'd like to see the company keep doing what it's doing. And I've been very open about the fact that I made money in 2021, and I'm not going to go into the depths of what I did or whatever, because everybody again has got their different opinions. Oh, you shouldn't sell stock, you shouldn't do options, you shouldn't do this. I just don't care what people do. I'm not interested. It's that competitiveness thing again. It's like a lot of people are actually just jealous about the people in 2020 that got in and made millions, and they got in late basically when it was too high, and it was always gonna come back down and retrace. And it was that element of they're now, being attacked over their decisions and whatever. And it's a shame. We all got it in it for different reasons and at different times. I don't care what you do with your stock or what you do with your options and that, as long as you like GameStop and you support the story. I'm open about that with my very good friends that I talk to on the different podcasts and things. Some of them are very anti, selling calls or buying puts or whatever. I just don't care what anybody does, and that's why I'm so kind of chill with it. I just love the company, and I know it's going to continue to grow. And as you see now with the power packs and everything, I'm just all about supporting the company rather than constantly posting about the stock. I love the stock. I buy the stock. I own the stock, and I've never sold my stock. But I don't bang on about that and make that the conversation. It's got to the point where the company's changing. The company is doing exactly what Roaring Kitty said it was going to do. And that's why I appreciate it. It's 5 years down the line, and I love where they're going. I love all this connection to Pokemon and cards and all these other things that they're trying to do. And now, obviously, with the talks about acquisitions and everything. But no, right in the beginning, it was very much initially to make money. That's the honest answer. I saw the stuff about the squeeze on Reddit, and then learning about Roaring Kitty, learning about Ryan Cohen over the months. I got in a very, very small amount at the back end of 2020, which is early, but it was a ridiculously small amount. It was like 20 shares or something at a price of $4 or something.
Yeah.
It was not a lot at all. And then as it started to get into the squeeze momentum, I started buying into the 10s and 20s and 30s and 50s. But yeah, it become an addiction. It become a something I'm really passionate about. And I'm like that with kind of anything I get into. I'm either very passionate or I don't care and I just write it off, you know?
Yeah, I think I get that a lot with some of the people I work with. I think that's a awesome story. There's a lot of things we could pick at. I would love to talk more about the power packs. To me,
Yeah.
like as a super avid board and card game player and collector, I'm a Magic the Gathering kid,
Nice.
so like I have a lot of Magic the Gathering cards. Never got into card collecting to the extent that like dollar value is
Yeah.
concerned, because I was always looking for value in my dollar playing the game. But as I started to learn more about NFTs, get into Web3, learn about blockchain, and start thinking about the opportunities that people had to use collectibles in different capacities, and starting to realize the power of collectibles, and then
Mhm.
learning that eventually at some point down the road GameStop created a new product that created collectibles that were real world assets, as well as graded cards at at a minimum level. So it's a really cool concept to me, and I would love to know kind of like before and then like during the kind of release of that, where your head was at, and like how you kind of started your process of pulling
Yeah.
packs.
Yeah, honestly, it was actually quite funny because it was a case of I saw all these people pulling normal packs, you know, TCG packs of Pokemon, and some really good friends in the community that I've got a lot of time for. Were always buying Pokemon from GameStop or buying Cardsmith's currency cards and all this. And I said to myself, don't buy the Pokemon packs, Aaron, because you're going to get addicted again. And when I was a kid, you know, I had all the originals and I got really into it and whatever. And I just thought to myself, no, hold off. But then when they started selling the slabs directly from their website, I was like, well, hold on. If I just buy one slab, then it's better than buying a pack because you know exactly what you're getting. And then there's no element of mystery and chasing and gambling, you know, which is what people attack, you know, power packs for and blah, blah, blah. But my argument is that's why I didn't want to buy TCG boxes, because you get that element of the unknown and it will make me want to buy more and whatever. And I just didn't want to at that time. So I started buying a few slabs from GameStop. I got up to about 10, 20 slabs. And just over the months, you know, like, and then all of a sudden, this power packs thing is coming out, and of course it was, oh, let's have a look at this, what's this about? And that very first stream that we did, which was literally just, you know, I've always been a silly entertainer. Like, I teach children, I teach people all the way from 4 up to like 64. It was just, I know how to be silly in front of people, in front of a camera. I know how to just have a laugh and laugh at myself. And that very first one, we did it like on the phone, and we got like 6,000 viewers because it was like a brand new concept, and it was all just on Twitter. And I thought, oh, there might be something here. Like, people keep telling me to do it more, and it was like, you know, a dance monkey dance. Like, and I was like, yeah, I think I might do another one. Like, I kind of enjoyed that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm always upfront. Like, it hooked me. It did hook me the same way as what I was worried about with TCG boosters, which is I just want to buy more. I just want to buy more. But the best thing about the streams is it's enabled me to have this control over myself, where I say, I'm only going to pull on the streams. And then I won't sit there just pulling in my bedroom at
Yeah.
11 o'clock at night, you know. And I've got this, because, yeah, it is. It's like this chase abundance, you know, gambling kind of thing, where you get the physical card. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it if I don't
Yeah.
have some sort of. So I'm very strict on, yeah, like the kind of the discipline again.
I
It's
like
to
that.
do with
Yeah.
your martial arts and that. I don't want to end up with 500 power packs that I've done when I've had too many whiskeys and, you
Yeah.
know, things like that. So I'm very strict. I'll buy a platinum pack or I'll buy a couple of gold packs when I'm on a stream, and they're 2 weeks apart, and I'll put a little bit of paycheck in along with my stocks and things like that. And it's worked really well. I've got a lovely collection of cards, and then GameStop have started getting involved. And you know, I had that crazy period where it was about 3 months ago now, where like Power Packs actually followed me. They started retweeting my stuff. GameStop have started liking and commenting and things. And then Ryan Cohen retweeted me and all of this. And it was all, I'll be honest with you, it was a lot. Like, it was a lot. It's all
Yeah.
positive. They're taking my pictures and my posts and putting me on their accounts and things. And I was like, Jesus, like, I've gone from being this like quite understated karate instructor that keeps myself to myself that's always been a bit of a clown and a bit of an entertainer, but like it was always within my dojo walls, to now like being a bit of a online jester where it's like I'm known for being that guy that's silly and funny and whatever, but along with that, of course, comes negativity and people attacking and whatever. So it's been a bit of a journey, to be honest, of dealing with, you know, rude people and aggressive people and whatever. But no different to the dojo or like a real fight. It's learning when to be quiet and when to deal with these kind of people. If somebody's attacking the product or saying, "Oh, you're just a gambler," then it's learning when to say something, and that's hard for me because it's teaching. You know, we would never teach somebody to back down against a bully if they were getting beaten up, for example. But then at the same time, you've got that professional kind of. If you always respond to all the trolls, you're just going to look like you're bothered all the time and like
Yeah,
you're
you can't give your energy out to it, right?
That's it. So it's defining like which ones are actually not letting up and bullying you versus which ones are just like screw them, they're just being trolls, or they'll just go away if you ignore them, you know. And I'm learning, you know. I've had phone calls with GameStop and I've had them helping me out with this kind of topic and supporting me and sponsoring the most recent stream and all that. And you know, people keep telling me like, you know, screw all of those guys, you're doing the right thing, GameStop are in your corner, and they like what you're doing. And I've spoken to people at the company who are impressed, and they like the community around our streams and things like that. And that's enough for me. Like, if we're going to get some trolls and some idiots and things, like I'm slowly getting used to that, you know.
1,000,000%. At some point in the growth and the scaling up, there is just going to be that percentage of people that you do need to just unfortunately tune out. It's a part of that process, but it's really cool to hear like how you're learning to deal with that, because I think again, like a big part of your values and what you show, and it's really interesting to hear more about your streams. I definitely want to pop in. As of the last year or so, I've been tapping in more with some of my community streams and then doing some more streams of my own, learning the value, I think, of the live streaming media is actually super understated in this ever so emerging like AI slop world that we're coming in, and where like content as a whole can be, whether it be negativity coming at it or just like lots of stuff, even good stuff, just getting out there based on these other things. I think the live streaming media format is such a powerful mechanism for that content. So like you can really be authentic. There's so many pieces to it. Like, I mean, we at the start of this had some connection issues, right? But you just power through it and rock it out. So like I love everything I'm hearing. I'm super excited to pop into some of the next few streams.
I appreciate it.
Tell me, like, where is Roaring Sensei going? Do you have it's 2026, do you have a plan for yourself as an individual, and where you're wanting to grow in the next little bit? Where's your thoughts at?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously I have to segment myself, you know what I mean? Because I get called Sensei more than I get called Aaron, you know, and that's always been a bit of a fascinating concept. I don't want to go too dark, but an old friend of mine who's passed away, she was an old army major, and she was very strict and stern and disciplined, but also really caring and sweet and kind. But you had to kind of get through to that, you know. And she once, when I was struggling, when I was a young lad, I was like 23 or whatever, she called me round and had a cup of tea and that, and she just said, "I'm fairly confident that you know who Sensei is, but I'm not so sure that you know who Aaron is," you know. And she was so right at 23 years old, because I, every day of my life, get called Sensei pretty much, and now online as well. You know, the GameStop Sensei, Roaring Sensei, whatever. But I'm very much in that role of being like, I guide and help people. I want to help people. Like, that's part of my fabric. And you know, Sensei is just a teacher. You know, but in the reality of the Japanese language, it means the person who came before you, the person who passes the knowledge along, you know, and things like that. Like, I'm always a student, but it's my duty to kind of help people and pass things along. So like, as I'm growing, I'm realizing honestly that I need to look after myself more as things grow than I ever had to, because I found a place where like I was all right. I was doing okay. Like everything was fine. Business is successful, this and that. But now that these kind of streams and that are growing, and I'm kind of sensei in a different capacity, like I'm leading the stream and I'm guiding people and run, you know, I'm hosting and all this. And again, you get that negativity and things you've got to deal with. And then you'll get like, I've gone from, you know, 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 people watching. And it's like, I need to check in with myself. I need to look after myself. And so honestly, it's just making sure that I've got enough time to balance everything, process everything, which sometimes I don't feel like there is. You know, I think a lot of people feel like that at the moment, in this climate that we live in, economy that we live in. Everything is really just rushed and next thing. And you know, you can't take some stock. So I'm going to look after myself, and I'm going to make sure all these trips that I go on, you know, I've just been to New York to go and do a karate seminar, but then of course the flight was affected and all this palaver. I'm just reading these nice comments that are coming up. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm popping up a couple from
Yeah.
a couple of the folks in here. Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
shout
this is
out.
it. It's that classic, you know, you can't, talking about aeroplanes, it's that classic thing that they say on an aeroplane, always put your own oxygen mask on first.
1,000,000%.
You know, it sounds so cliche and whatever, but
And I think that's part of that work-life balance part, right? That like people talk about it in a corporate setting most of the time, but it is even more applicable for an entrepreneur because your work is most of, you know, the things you potentially do in your day-to-day. So having that time for yourself, for your family, for but also for your individual self, super important. And
and it's
I like
difficult.
that. It's so difficult because it's addicting, right? All of this is just like continuing to become better at what you're doing is addicting, but you have to sometimes take a step back, check in with yourself, and make sure at the current pace that you're at, you're good with yourself and continuing to like have those habits, those like different things that you can rely on when, you know, some individual does come and troll or it gets out of hand somewhere, being able to then moderate or mediate or understand from the last time what happened and where you can grow is super important.
This is it. And just the fact that, which is difficult for me because I try to be as nice as possible, but not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to like the way you are, the things you talk about, the things you do, how you come across, your sense of humor. And that's tough enough. But then the fact that everything else that I'm not a normal individual. I don't work a 9 to 5. I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I don't want a normal 9 to 5, but that makes me quite different. But then everything that I do is intertwined. So all of this stuff, what you were saying, you know, if I'm working on something to better myself, well, I get passionate about that thing. So then that takes up a lot of time. So then it's like, well, I'm really locked into this right now, you know, and I've got no qualms about being open about the fact that I'm very into mental health, and I've got ADHD and all the rest of it, and I have to be, you know, therapist, medication, this kind of stuff. And I think, you know, we don't need to get into that, but more people need to be open.
I think it's super important, mental health as a whole. We and in our communities, Onaji had mentioned Solid Mindset. Onaji's a podcast host with me. Shout out Onaji. But we have a lot of awesome communities, mutual communities that are very specifically focused on mental health and how they can grow that. And I think that's something that's not talked about as much. Like as I started working with musicians more, I realized how important mental health for musicians was, because there is a point in all artists' lives that they realize that music can come from passion. And my goal is to help those musicians realize that passion doesn't have to be negative, right? Like it can be positive, and it doesn't have to, like, you can try and take your negative emotions and not just sit in them and deal with them because you think that that's the only way you can make music, right? And growing from that, because I know a lot of musicians will fall into that trap and have had their own mental health challenges with that. So I think it's a super important topic, and
Yeah,
talking about it is the best thing you can do.
exactly.
Right?
The difference is, right, so this is where I to those that are not initiated with how I am and who I am as a martial artist, this is where I can sound really tough, which is you talk about it, but you must have a goal to fix it. If you're just sitting and wallowing and moaning, you're not going to get anywhere. It's like you're just stagnant, and you're just, what's the point? We might as well not discuss it if it's just going to be whinge, whinge, moan, moan, come back the next day and then just whinge, whinge, moan, moan. And this is, I suppose, a part of the ADHD, and it's this fixer mentality, which can actually sometimes, you know, with your partner or something, sometimes they just want you to listen to them, but you want to fix it, you know? And so that in that situation, sometimes I have to learn to back off and just go, okay, hit me, talk to me, you know?
I get that.
But with
Yeah.
myself and with my friends and with people that we do talk a lot about these kind of things, we have kind of almost agreed that what's the purpose of this conversation then? What are we going to actually do here to challenge this and fix this? Because otherwise we're just whinging, you know? And sometimes the
1,000,000%.
whinge is okay, but if that's all you're going to be doing, then you're not solving anything, you know? And so a lot of my conversations will be quite tough with myself and others. It'll be like quite difficult conversations, like, okay, your boss has spoken to you like this, but he keeps speaking to you like this. So what are we going to do? You know, are you going to say something to them? How are you going to say it? How are you going to do it? Or is it just going to be bitch, 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 my boss is an asshole, you know? And that's tough. That's a really tough conversation. And a lot of people these days, I don't know, they want to be validated and they want to be told that everything's okay. And I don't think that's the best way around mental health. Sometimes you do have to be a bit touchy, careful, you know. But when it just keeps dragging on and nothing changes, there has to be that line where we say, what are we going to do here, folks? How are we going to attack this? You know?
Yeah, no, having an action item plan in place is always my fix to everything anyways. So I totally understand and empathize with that like point, because that's super important. Someone said here, as a martial artist, it's all about sinking back to your base. Sometimes your opponent makes you lean forward or back, but you want to meet them where you're strong. Stand strong in your authenticity. So I love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. Amazing. Like, what a powerful conversation. I honestly didn't realize it was gonna go this way, and I'm super glad it did.
No, that's cool.
I had an absolute blast chatting with you. I would love to chat more about some of these potential action items and things that we do in our communities, get you potentially involved, because it's a bunch of digital creators. So I think you would fit right in. We do a lot of different things in different capacities, whether that's my community or adjacent. But
Oh,
I
definitely. I mean,
think
it's
there's
helpful, isn't it? You know?
I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I would love to talk more about GameStop, pull a couple packs with you on stream the next time, or even and definitely go from there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know obviously you're limited on time and then it's late here and stuff. It's the shortest little podcast I've ever done. It feels crazy. It feels like we're just getting going, but
I know we'll have to 100% continue the conversation. And yeah, where can people find you online if people want to know more?
Thank you. So just Roaring Sensei on all platforms. So just mainly X and Twitter is my day-to-day chat. Posting about GameStop, power packs, what the things I buy, my collector's stuff. And then if you want the specifically power pack stuff, all the other platforms, you know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you'll find me, Roaring Sensei. LinkedIn and stuff for the professional stuff, you know, my real name. But I tend to just on there follow GameStop employees and things to keep tabs of the company and that really. But no, Roaring Sensei really. And if you like the Pokemon stuff and the Power Pack stuff, and now I've started doing some more different bits where I'm opening Street Fighter cards and I'm opening currency cards and things.
Okay.
So the YouTube is the main one, yeah.
Okay.
But,
perfect. The YouTube.
But no, we'll have to do an episode 2 and we'll have a bit of a longer chat. Yeah.
1,000,000%. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks everyone for popping in, saying hi, saying all the awesome comments. It just goes to show how awesome your community is, pulling up and
No, I want to thank, all these people.
and saying so many good things.
Yeah, I've not seen some of your guys, obviously, Onaji and everybody, but we've got a lot of our great ones, that come on the streams, Chips and Stan's mum, and there's quite a few, G Money and Hula, and I don't want to miss anybody, but I'll thank you all later, Tudor and everybody. But no, I appreciate it. We've got a lot of good people, and we're trying to keep it positive and keep pushing. And I want to thank GameStop again for sponsoring my last stream, and we're winning, and Power Packs is winning, and just shop GameStop.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. I can definitely ring cheers to that. Thanks guys. Have a good night.